Okay, so it's that time of year again. It's MOT time. Not as bad as it was last year, but it still failed on a few bits and pieces. So we've got both anti-roll bar links and worn. Exhaust system insecure. Wheel bearing rough when rotated. Tyre has a cut. Seatbelt anchorage prescribed area strength of continuity significantly reduced near side front. Rust. Driver's view of the road through the swept area of the windscreen significantly affected by an obstruction. Can't think what that is. Headlamps match pair are not the same colour. And there's a few advisories, but that's basically it. Let's get cracking. I figured I'd start with the wheel bearing. That was the one most likely to cause problems. There was definitely a noise there, but not the usual bearing rumble you might expect. Whatever it was, it didn't seem like it was the bearing. So I pulled the caliper off just to rule that out. It's still there, but it sounds more like something rubbing against the brake disc. And sure enough, the noise goes away with the disc off. Well, there's the problem. There's a rusty old bit of brake dust shield rubbing against the disc. So I just gave everything a quick clean up and pulled the old bit of metal off. That's much easier than trying to fit a new bearing. While I was in the area, I pulled the old roll bar link out. Yep, that's pretty shot. Out with the old, and in with the new. So that's all buttoned up, now to do the same on the other side. Okay, so I hit a snag here. This one, it's just about moving. All it's doing is this whole thing is spinning round. I was trying to put an Allen key in there, but that's just rounded out now. That just keeps spinning out, so more drastic measures needed. The bottom nut was just as stuck as the top one, only this was in a harder to reach place. Still, I won in the end. The exhaust was up next. To be fair, this was a bit of a bodged mess. I wasn't sure if the tester didn't like this bit flapping around the place. Or this broken hanger that I completely missed when I've been checking everything before. Well, I'll fix both anyway. The front hanger was easy enough, even though I didn't have the proper rubber. I found one that would do the trick. This bit's trickier. Obviously this isn't the standard exhaust, and I cobbled this together after the old one fell off. The exhaust is supposed to go right up the back and sits up much higher than this normally. So I had to figure something out that would hang down low enough and still be rigid enough to not flop around all over the place. So let's just get this old junk off first. And I should be able to make something up using this bolt. It's definitely not pretty, but it's much better than before. So now it's time to fix this rust. The sills are a bit rotten all over and covered in patches, so at some point soon I'll cut them out and replace them properly. In the meantime, I'll just patch this hole up. Fortunately, the inboard side is still in good shape, so I just need to fix this side. Bit of welding, bit of paint, and it's all good to go again. While I had the welder out, I figured it wouldn't hurt to weld on another exhaust hanger. Nothing fancy, just a bit of threaded rod hanging off a rubber attached to the chassis rail. Seems like whenever I need to do any welding these days, it's in the most sodding awkward places. But that should keep the MOT man happy, or at least give him something to laugh at. Now to see what's going on with these headlights. And it looks like one of them's just blown. I guess it was a different colour because it was in its death throes. Well, I've never seen one do that before. So I chucked the new one in, and it all looks good now. I got an advisory on an oil leak, so I figured I should get that sorted out. I replaced the oil pan last year and just used the gasket that came with it. As I suspected, it was leaking a little bit from there. So off it came again. I cleaned off all the old remains. And I used silicone this time. Back on it goes. And that should be the end of that. There is a bit of a power steering leak going on here, but that's a job for another day. So then I put some fresh oil in, and that was it, ready for the retest. I also got some new tyres put on the rear as they were getting old and starting to crack.
Right, so the MOT's all sorted out now, it passed. There's actually about half to go, but never mind. We're there now. There's a few little advisories that need taken care of. I've got a full joint dust cover needs putting out. Clear light headlamp lens slightly effective. Offside headlamp type effective. The honest relics. Got an anti-roll bar link with some slight play at the back. There's an oil leak, which I think is actually just a mess from when I was cleaning it up before. There's a minor leak of exhaust gases, and that's the front exit pipe. There's just an anti-roll bar push a bit worn out. That's it, we're done. There's a couple of other bits and pieces I need to sort out now.
The tester mentioned the emissions have been close to failing, so I threw in a new air filter. It needed it for sure. I figured a bit of injector cleaner wouldn't hurt either. Glug 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 glug. These bolts that hold the spare tyre on are way too long, so I got those cut to length. The reverse lights have never worked, so it's time to get those fixed. I thought the reverse light switch was under the battery tray, so I pulled that out. The bolts are a bit rusty, but they came out easy enough. But once I got the tray out, the switch wasn't even there. Okay, so for some reason I thought the switch was under the battery tray, but it's not. It's just the clutch cylinder there. And so it gets a bit further under there. So take the air box off now. So I went to take the air filter box off, but hit a snag. Just trying to get this off, and normally I'd expect to see a Jubilee clip here, but this is just looks like an old drive shaft clip, so I can't get that off easy, but that's a problem. Don't know how long that's been like that. So I should take that the rest of the way off now. I think that's the guy there. Access was a bit awkward, but I managed to get a 22mm spanner under there and the switch unscrewed easily enough. Okay, that's the old one. Seems to move okay, but who knows. Got a new one here, so I'll just throw that in. Refitting was easy enough, even after spending way too long trying to fit the air intake sensor plug onto the switch. Once I got that sorted out, I threw everything back together. Okay, so got everything buttoned up here now. Let's see if it's going to work. And yes, reverse light, both of them. Job's a good one. I needed to replace the air intake hose, but that was going to take a couple of days to arrive, and I needed the van for work the next day, so You gotta do what you gotta do. Hopefully that'll hold for a few days. The new hose showed up a couple of days later. It was an easy enough swap. Just pull the airbox out. Unclip the two hoses. And then fit the new one. Job done. Okay, so that's all done now. And how's the van been over the years since I last updated? Well, fine actually. We turned it into a makeshift camper van and took it on holiday to Cornwall last year. But other than that, it's mostly just been used as my work van. And to be honest, it's been fine at that. It's just been doing its thing without any fuss really. So I think this one's a keeper for sure, although it's getting to the point where it needs some more serious maintenance to keep it going properly. I'll be doing some more of that over the next few months, so stick around if you want to see some more of that. Well, that's it for this video, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Say goodbye. Say goodbye.